It is now time to hear from an industry leader who brings global perspective and strategic excellence. I warmly welcome Mr. Vikrant Shrotriya, Corporate Vice President and Managing Director, Novo Nordisk, India, to deliver his address to this esteemed gathering.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here to have this kind of a conference which is so contemporary and be among the panel or the guests who have to give their experiences and share their learning. I'm also very fortunate to meet all my colleagues and also my mentors. You will be surprised. There are quite a lot of my mentors actually who are there in this gathering, and also the colleagues with whom I have worked. I have to say this, at least the students who are starting to have this career with the PGDM, they are very, very lucky. When I did my master's, 386 or 486 just came into the market. Those were the computers, and probably the next version of the typewriters they came into the market. And you are getting into the learning which is AI and data in your courses. And we are illiterate as far as that context is concerned. We often use this word, but do we really know that what it really means in terms of an implementation? We are also very fortunate that many of those young colleagues who come with very contemporary learning, they come into the organization and we learn from them. And I'm, at least in my Novo Nordisk, I'm taking a step that, the board of directors of many of the US companies did that 2 years or 3 years before the AI courses. I'm taking that step now that at least the leadership team in India should start with some kind of an AI course rather than just being targeted and used AI in their social network, which we all are bombarded. We start using it for productive work. And that's very, very important when it comes to the learning. So I said it because before I say something as a teaching, I should say that we are probably at the starting block when it comes to what you are going to learn. When it comes to healthcare, it's the changes which we have been seeing, phenomenal. In the last 100 years, from phytochemicals to chemicals, we are moving towards biologics, as Mr. Jain said, monoclonal antibodies, CAR therapies, gene editing, gene therapies. Everything is happening. And everything is happening at a very, very fast pace. It's not only at the therapeutic level, the things are happening. It's also at a care level, things are happening. At the hospital level, things are happening. And they are basically happening with the help of nothing but the digital transformation and also the technical transformation which is happening in the market. And they just look like they are just coming out of the blue. And it is also, we are seeing that suddenly it comes. We have seen ChatGPT came in November 2022, and just in 2 months, there were billions of users. Can you imagine? Couple of months, billions of users. Netflix took 30 years to have 1 billion users. It's now 30 years. LinkedIn has taken, all of you probably would be, has taken years to have that 1.2 billion. So while it looks like that it's very, very old, there are decades when nothing happens, and then there are years when everything happens. In the last couple of years, everything is changing, from chemistry to biology, from genetics to data science. And we are at the cusp of it. And things are happening. He just talked about collaborations in the pharma companies are happening to find out the solution right from the drug discovery to the outcome of the patient, and everything which comes in between, whether it is clinical trial, manufacturing, drug supplies, or hospital care, or even interface with the doctors, and also at a pharmacy level. And these changes we have seen we have witnessed at least during the COVID time. What we saw in COVID time is a bill for telemedicine was there in India for 10 years. Nothing happened. Come 23rd March, overnight the bill passes and telemedicine comes. And today CGHS, Apollo, everybody is actually going on telemedicine. It has slightly come down, but overall, the growth of telemedicine is actually more than 23% in India. And that is a huge growth which is happening with the help of technology. We are moving from an age, fundamental shift which is happening is, we are moving from an age of systemic to precision. Whether you call it diagnosis, where actually it used to be a systemic in terms of finding out the diagnosis, and today we are getting into more and more precise diagnosis. When it comes to treatment, we are getting into systemic treatment to very precise treatment. Monoclonal antibodies are those examples, but we have got 3 organizations in India, CAR therapies, where you see the precision at which they try to have an outcome is fundamental to the treatment. And there are many platforms which are being created, mRNA interface, ribosomes, gene editing, cell therapies, which are actually happening just to have a treatment which is very, very precise and outcome based. So while all this happens, it doesn't happen overnight. Take an example, it would be bad not to give an example of Novo Nordisk. We became powerhouse of chemistry, and probably in Denmark, if you know, it's a very small country with 6 million population, and in 1900s, you can imagine that food was scarce, fermentation was the technique to preserve, you can say, dairy products, and that's why you have got also good beers out here. And Novo Nordisk had a technology for fermentation. And side by side, we got something which is called as insulin, license for insulin. But that was the beginning. And what I mean to say is, from that start of a crude insulin, which came as a treatment, to today what we see the insulin, it is a series of changes which has happened in the field of innovation. Today, we will soon be launching once a week insulin. And that point of a time, we used to have crude insulin in 1923 to be given 6 times in a day with full of allergies. Now, this journey is not small. This journey is more than 100 years. And there have been 20 types of insulins in between, won 3 Nobel Prizes. Thanks to understanding of that protein chemistry, and today there are models where protein chemistry understood much more faster, that we also came with semaglutide as an innovation, very important thing, innovation. And that innovation changed the face of the therapy, at least in the field of obesity, and also the face of Novo Nordisk. Even on a bad day, which probably is today's time, a lot of competition, we still stand tall as an organization which is $50 billion. And it has multiplied very, very fast over a period of time. Now, the fundamental thing was actually understanding of the protein chemistry. Why I'm telling you this is, similarly, just take an easy example of computers. It was vacuum in 1946, in 1966 diode, and then came the IC time, then came the processors time, and now is the AI and data time. And this change looks like now, but this change has happened sequentially. And that is why in India, this fundamental change is required sequentially. It's a good thing that we have started talking about rather than just manufacturing. And we are the pharmacy of the world, but we send truckload of medicine and we only get a wallet full of money. All right? We would like to have a situation where we have got digital solutions which we send across, buy the digital space and get a truckload of money. And that's what some of the companies like Mad Genomes are doing, genetic mapping. 6C, Cure.ai. And these are the, you can say, the organizations which are actually coming across. And that is what fundamentally the students from here, these are the kind of things one has to take it forward to have the beginning of the technological revolution to start from India. And when these kind of a thing start, that is the time when we think about Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan, Prime Minister Modi talks about, right? That Anusandhan, the research, the Bioshakti of 10,000 crore will only multiply when this learning from these institutions get converged with the industry. We are sitting in Bangalore, and fortunately Mr. Sishu is here actually, who was the founder to bring Novo Nordisk actually in Bangalore. At that point of a time, there were virtually no pharma companies in Bangalore. And now there are many. And I say many because Bangalore has become the largest recruiter of knowledge worker in healthcare. It is not Mumbai, sorry to say. It's not Gujarat. You can have blue-collar worker there in the factories. But when it comes to the people who are bringing knowledge and bringing innovation, that's what is here. Whether it is Merck, whether it is Glaxo, Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Teva, Regeneron, Astra, many of the companies, and IQVIA is also there, and many other consultancies which are there. And they all require the next generation of students who probably the kind of collaboration you are doing with Ashoka University, who are critical thinkers, who can really think rather than repetitive, who can think how to do it the next level better. And that is what is required in this industry. Often we are at a loss of students because either we get engineers or we get science. And from here, probably science based in management. Whereas actually the requirement is a mix of both. The largest requirement is coming from mix of both. Can you imagine? Mr. Jain talked about biology and engineer. I would just differ here a little bit, Mr. Jain. The startup, 80% is led by engineers in health and medtech. We get defined in 12th grade, probably, or maybe in 10th grade, that science and analytical mind and people who take maths, and then there are people who take biology. I was the one who took biology, right? But people who took maths, analysis, and they went to engineering colleges, they are the people actually changing science, let me tell you. Just see the founders of health tech and med tech. Just see where $2 billion has come in the last 2 years in terms of an investment in the healthcare space. It's not from the biology side. So I've got a request here, and that's where we are doing in academic, that can we have students, and we see that shaping. I was talking to the founder of Mad Genome, that they say that we don't get students who can do coding and who knows science. So difficult. Now coding has become simple, but understanding of that science is also very, very important. We need to blend that. We need to mix that in a mixer and to make it possible that the kids who come out of this institute are just industry ready and ready to make a difference in this technology world and innovation world. With this, thank you very much for the invitation, Dr. Usha. Pleasure to be here to connect and also to reconnect again and again. Thank you very much for the listening, and I hope that we bring change together. Thank you.